Look at that bad boy there. Yum. All right, bottoms up. Wow. That flavor is out of this world. Smoking and grilling. I think I'm gonna always have to do that for pork chops because that is phenomenal. Man, what's going on, everybody? My name is John Serwin and this is my kitchen. Welcome. Today, I'm gonna show you how I made this. Brine, smoked, and grilled pork chops. I have 3 thick cut ones and 3 thin cut. Show you the techniques and how it's done coming up. So just got off the golf course and I want to have some smoked and grilled pork chops. I am going to brine, smoke, and then char these pork chops because pork just takes on, it's one of my favorite things. And if we're talking real talk, I've had this conversation before. If you can choose one animal to eat for the rest of your life, be it a chicken, pig, cow, lamb, or hey, whatever other animal, but you can only eat from that animal for the rest of your life, mine is pork. Yeah, will I miss steak? Absolutely, but I will eat, bacon, sausage, pork chops, ribs, pork tenderloin. There are so many good things off of a pig. Anyway, let's go ahead and brine up our pork. Over at our stovetop, we are gonna take our 2.5 quart pot, throw in 2 cups of apple cider vinegar, which 2 cups is a pint. A pint is a pound the world around, so 454 grams or 2 cups, 1 pint, however you want to figure it out. We'll get this onto some medium heat. 3/4 of a cup or 120 grams of Diamond Crystal kosher salt. 200 grams or 1 whole cup of brown sugar. This is light brown sugar that I have right now. If you had dark brown, go for that. 6 grams or 1 tablespoon of some brown mustard powder. 1 tablespoon or 10 grams of black peppercorns. And then 4 cloves of garlic that I am just gonna lightly crush by hand. Nice light crush on those bad boys. And we are going to heat this up until all the sugar and salt dissolves. Should take about 5-10 minutes. Just about 6 minutes in, we have attained boilage, so I am going to turn this off. I've been whisking throughout. I'm just gonna go ahead and let this steep for another 5 minutes, and then we will add in our 1 pound of ice to get our perfect ratio for the brine. 5 minutes has now gone by and going in with 1 pound of ice. Yes, I do weigh it out. When it comes to brines, the ratios are pretty important from what I've found. You can do kind of roundabouts, but you gotta keep the ratio pretty close. So 1 pound of ice going in. That should help cool it down. Once this ice fully melts, we will go ahead and put it into our vessel with our pork chops. All right, we're getting ready to brine our pork chops. Here, I have 3 thick cut and 3 thin cut pork chops. Doing a little experimenting with them. This is enough brine that we have for this amount of pork chops. That brine actually is enough for 5 thick cut pork chops. So it'll be plenty in there. Take our brining vessel, take our brining liquid, pour it on in. All that ice is now melted. We're gonna take our thick boys, get those in there. Maybe we'll do a little staggering, right? Why not? Let's give no excuses for not getting enough brine on everything, right? Might not look like enough brine, but it'll all fit, believe you me. I've done this a handful of times and we can always weigh it down. I mean, it fits in this container that I have. If you have a different container or if you want to do bags, feel free to do that. And then what I do is I will take a plate and weigh it all down. If you are concerned with it, you can always put a weight on top of this plate. So this is a very pungent brine. This is a mustard brine. Actually got inspired from my man Alton Brown, which, hey, if you're watching this, that'd be awesome if Alton Brown was a fan because I'm a massive fan of his. Anyway, this is his dry mustard brine that all I did was switch up just a tiny bit by putting in some garlic, and if I had some fresh herbs, or sometimes I even put in some rosemary or thyme. This is getting covered, thrown in the fridge for 2 hours. No more, no less. In the meantime, we will go ahead outside and get our smoker rocking and rolling. See you outside by the smoker. To get the pit fired on up, I just use myself a nice charcoal chimney right on here. The old bag of charcoal, rip it on up. This is fantastic stuff for a chimney starter. And I just crumple it all up, kind of into some separate little balls. Whoop. Now, just take some charcoal, fill up the chimney completely. I guess not crazy completely, but almost to the top. Start your chimney on down here. The reason I do this is because instead of wasting, I shouldn't say wasting, but instead of using some of the logs that I use for smoking, you're trying to get a bed of coals, right? So just start up a charcoal chimney and that'll get you a bed of coals, and then you can build your fire on top of that. I got this one from Chud's Barbecue. Bradley Robinson. Hey, that's another guy. That's 2 shout outs now. Maybe one of these days I can collaborate with him as well. This is gonna take about a good 20 minutes to get rolling, and then we will build our fire inside of our firebox, and I'll show you the technique on how I do that. All right, now our charcoal is flaming up pretty good. I want to show you guys my setup. Move this off. This is how I have mine. Now, mind you, this has been used a lot. So I have a flat grate and 2 angled grates. This way, I can pour my charcoal right on in, maneuver it how I'd like, and then I will put my logs in. So I want it to be, I'm gonna throw 2 logs in. This is pecan wood that I use. 2 logs in on either side. If I wanted a bigger fire, I'd put 1 right on top too. I'm gonna keep this open for about a good 5 minutes to let that pecan start to ignite. Then I'll close it down. See, it's already starting. So we're just gonna heat the whole thing up for about a half hour, and then we'll start dialing in the temperature with our dampers, and I'll show you the thermometer that I like to use. Well, folks, we may be battling some rain, so this will be interesting. This here is my probe thermometer, 2 probes. One I use for the temperature inside of the smoker, and the other I use for the temperature inside the meat. We're gonna smoke this for about an hour at anywhere between 250 and 275 degrees. So set my alarm to go off at 277 degrees. If it gets up that high, I wanna obviously drop it back down anywhere between 250 and 275. This is pretty cool. You put this part right onto the smoker grate and do a little kickstand here. I like to put it right down here. It's gonna be out of the way of the food, but I know down at food level that it's going to be 250 to 275 degrees. Gotta start backing down the dampers a little bit, see what we get it to. This will take about a good 10 minutes to start dialing in. It has now been 2 hours for our pork chops, and that's what they look like after brined. See if they look a tiny bit gray there, you know it has penetrated. I'm gonna take these over to the sink, rinse them and dry them. And here they are after being brined, rinsed, and dried. You can see some of the peppercorn marks. The thinner ones look like they actually didn't take on as much, but I highly doubt that. There's 100% brined all the way through. So we're gonna take these outside and throw them on the smoker for 1 hour. All right, onto the smoker we go. We're gonna put the thicker ones more towards the smoke over here, and we are gonna face the bone towards it as well. Whoop. You may see there will be 2 on here that have not been brined. These are 2 that I am somewhat experimenting with only salt, so like a dry brine. All right, smoke them off anywhere between 250 and 275 for the next hour. You can see smoke is coming out, and you can see the heat. That is a good sign of smoke right there. It's not dark and acrid, but that is cooking, and it will be taking on smoke. When it's pumping out smoke, sometimes that'll get you a little too acrid of a smoke taste. So that's the fun of smoking. You can try and dial in the kind of smoke you want to hit. It has now been about 30 minutes, and we are going to check on, I have a feeling these thin ones are getting real close. Let's go ahead and see what the temp is. 141, perfect. So I'm going to take these off because I am going to grill these and char them up just to get a little bit of grill marks on there. And then our big one that we have the probe thermometer in right now is temping at 120 degrees. So they might take the full hour. All right, folks, we have had 1 hour of smoke time. Hopefully you're able to see that. Currently sitting at 130 degrees internal, and we've been cooking away at about 263 degrees right now. So we're gonna take them off and finish them on the grill. Let's take a look. Oh boy, do those look delicious. Let's see if we can get in tight for you. All right, take these off, put them on the grill. Oh, it looks smoky and delicious. Look at that bad boy there, yum. That's the dry brine one. All right, time to sear them off on the grill. Gonna try and remember, this one is the salt only. Just gonna get a nice sear on them, and then to check our internal temp, we're just gonna use our ThermoPen Pro. That was a ThermoPen Square. This is our instant read 1 second thermometer. We've now been grilling for a total of 7 minutes, and we are gonna check the internal temp, shooting for right at 145. 144, good enough by me. It's gonna carry over a few, so that one's coming off. All right, all probing beautifully. Time to rest them for about 5 minutes and then get to eating. All right, and there you have it, folks. That is our brined, smoked, and grilled pork chops. Smoked the thick ones for just about an hour. The thin ones right at about 35 minutes. brought them all up to the internal temperature of 145. Well, really, I grilled them then to 145. That's where I like my pork, juicy, delicious at that point. So yeah, there is a steakhouse. It is a chain, I believe. They make a pork chop there that is life-changing, legitimately. Perry's, I'm still trying to figure out. I think I know what they do, but not sure. I'm gonna work on that and try and make it one of these days. I believe it's brined, smoked, sous vide, and then probably grilled or charred somehow, some way, but it is phenomenal. If you're ever around a Perry's, give that a shot. Yeah, I'm giving them some free advertisement, but hey, maybe one of these days they'll want to do business with me. That'd be awesome. All right, well, nothing left to do but give this the old official taste test. We'll go in with thin one first. And you know what? I'm just gonna go primitive on this because the meat right next to the bone is my favorite. So I usually cut it off the bone and gnaw on the bone, but we're just gonna go in primitive. Bottoms up. Mm-hmm. Man, take a look. Mm-hmm. Even for being a thin cut pork chop, that thing took on the brine beautifully, took on smoke flavor, and man, that is absolutely delicious. Now, for the star of the show, the one that I'm excited for, nice thick cut pork chop. And all I did was, I did not put any seasoning on this after I did the brine. So I am going to cut this away from the bone. That mustard brine, that with it only taking 2 hours, it imparts such flavor, it's unreal. Oh yeah, that looks delicious. All right, I'm gonna go with a little char on here because that's some of my favorite. Mm-hmm. Look at that, folks, beautiful. All right, bottoms up. Wow. Mm-hmm. You have to do thick cut pork chops. Thin cut, they probably have their place, but thick cut just keeps that juiciness, took on that brine. That flavor is out of this world. Smoking and grilling. I think I'm gonna always have to do that for pork chops because that is phenomenal. Man, awesome. Well, thanks for coming by, guys. Always appreciate it. And just want to leave you with this. Remember, you're only making food out of ingredients till you sit down and share them with the ones you love. Then it's a meal. Appreciate it, guys. Can't thank you enough. Hope you guys get some good out of this video. And you know what? Give it a shot. Try that brining technique. Try smoking it and try grilling it. It's awesome. Here is a video that YouTube thinks you might like. And here's a video that I think you'll like. And as always, if you could hit that subscribe button, that would greatly help out. All right, guys, till next time.